There, this is Clovis from Kinematic Lab. In this video you will learn how to use the settings. So let's create a chamfer box. I will just increase some values, okay, like that, convert it to poly. Okay, so now I have my base object on which I will insert some assets. So let's select some faces. Okay. And let's see what all these buttons does. So first of all, you have the adapt asset height. So let's merge an asset, this one for example. So I click and it imports my asset here. So what it does, what this option does, is that it adapts the asset height to the face selection. So if I select a smaller face, okay, you see that the asset is scaled, okay, homothetically in all directions, X, Y, and Z, and the Z-axis obviously adapts. But if you select the same kind of face and uncheck this option, it will keep the asset height but scale the two other axes. So depending on your selection, it's going to make a difference. Okay, it keeps the asset height, but if you check the option, they are going to be adapted, so the scale will look correct. But sometimes you have to keep the height. Okay, it depends on the kind of asset you are trying to merge. The second option is the Curvature Deform. So let's use some of the corners here for that. So I will select some faces. Okay, just these faces for the corner. I will try to find, well, let's use this asset. So if I click it now, okay, you see that it imports the asset and it deforms it along the curvature of this angle. Let's try with another asset like this one. Okay, you see that it deforms. So even if I scale it a little bit, you will see it better. So it really deforms it, it bends it. Okay. And now if I uncheck the option, it will keep your asset straight. Okay, which is good to keep the proportions and do not distort it. So in that case, what you can do is relax these borders, okay, with the relax button here. And you can do the same on this kind of borders. Like if you wanted to assign this kind of asset, if you keep the curvature deform and press, you see that it deforms along this curve. Okay, let's just turn it. Okay, and if you remove this option, it will be kept straight like that. Okay, now let's talk about the third option, which is the Weld option. So when you have an asset with open borders like that, you can choose to merge it completely with your selection. So all the borders vertices will be merged. So it's going to be only one mesh at the end. So if I click this asset like that, all the vertices are welded. Okay, there is nothing floating. Okay, but if I uncheck this option, okay, and now it says keep separated objects. So it does exactly the same thing, but instead it keeps this asset separated. I mean, separated, completely separated, not attached, but as a separated asset. So you can move it, select it, change it. It's going to be kept like that. Okay. And now the last option is the free borders mode or the same borders mode. So the difference has been explained in other videos, but I will re-explain it a little bit. So if I select some faces like that, like the 3x3 square, and choose the same borders mode, let's filter my library with the per face selection. Now it shows all the assets in my whole library with corresponding borders. So 3x3, you see 3x3. And if I click an asset, okay, you see that now the borders are perfectly fit my selection. Which is cool too, because if I have distorted selection like that, the asset will be distorted too. But if I change this mode to the free borders mode, it inserts the asset, okay, and try to blend between your faces and this asset borders. So in this case, you don't really have to use the per face selection filter or try to use some assets with corresponding borders. You can insert any type of asset in any type of selection. Okay, like you have a circle here with a lot of subdivisions, and it tries to bridge between these two borders. Okay, and the very last thing is that you can insert some assets per let's say per face cluster. I define face cluster per with separated face selections like this 3x3, this 2x2, 1, 1, 1, 2, like that. These are separated clusters, okay? And if I select an asset, all this cluster will be populated with this asset, okay? So this is the by default behavior of the tool, okay? And now if I check per face, it's going to insert an asset per face. Okay, and I think that's it for the settings. See you in the next video.